Should all dog owners have to get a licence? Rishi Sunak's announced that the American XL bully will be banned, calling the animals a danger to communities. And it follows numerous dog attacks, including the mauling of an 11-year-old girl in Birmingham, which left her with serious injuries. The Dog Control Coalition argue banning the XL bully will not stop the attacks, and there should be a bigger focus on irresponsible owners. And campaigners have also questioned the practicality of a ban, but it's been confirmed that the dogs will not face a cull and will be registered and kept leashed and muzzled in public. So for the great British debate this out, I'm asking, should all dog owners have to get a licence? Joining me now is Colin Tennant. He's a dangerous dog assessor and dog expert witness. Neil Parish is a former Conservative MP and Chair Environment for Food and Rural Affairs. Claire Pearsall, political commentator and former Conservative Special Advisor. And Peter Spencer, a political commentator. Well, listen, I've got to start straight away with Colin because this XL bully looks like a lion with a human kind of face. And I would be absolutely petrified of one of those. Surely all dogs should have a licence and that dog should be banned in particular.
Well, we used to have a licence for dogs many years ago, and that didn't work because people who, if you wish, have criminal minds, or people who ignore the law, people or who are irresponsible, and they're the group I refer to who own these dogs that are aggressive, whether they're bull breeds or other breeds. You're supposed to have your dog chipped by law, so they're not going to have the dog chipped. And if you don't have the dogs chipped, you can't then trace them. So all the people who are honest and all the people who look after the dogs will have the dogs chipped as they do now. So somebody can go along and test it to see if there's a chip in the dog and identify the dog. But they're not the people who are causing the problems. The people who are causing the problems, which you'll see in parts of London, in Kilburn, in Southwark, and other areas, are mainly young males between the ages of about 18 and 23. Not always males, but generally that's the group that I deal with. I've interviewed over 100 in court, and they are of type, let alone the dog being of type. They're often not particularly well educated on dog care. They are obsessed with image. They want to use the dog as a substitute weapon, i.e. instead of a knife or another weapon, they use the dogs. They use them to threaten. They encourage them to be aggressive. So if you take a young puppy, whatever the breed, and you encourage it to be aggressive, and you don't go through the formal training that the rest of us do, then you often end up with a dog like these. But it is incremental. And so who's going to enforce the license? I mean, at the moment, we have a lot of draconian laws on dogs. And then enforced. The police do not enforce them. I mean, I was in Kilburn about 2 months ago, and there was a gang of lads with cross bull breeds, Staffordshire type crosses, larking around, and the dogs were snarling and snapping, and I could see people walking around them like you say you would be. But I've got a German Shepherd who's sat next to me here, and he's a big dog, but I wouldn't walk past them because I don't want my dog attacked by them. There's policemen driving past, they don't stop them. They can issue an antisocial behaviour order against them.
Colin, I'm going to bring in Neil Parish, because Neil, what is your take on this? He said that they're not going to really do anything because the people who are irresponsible won't get a licence. But what if the licence was gradually more expensive the worse the dog was, and there was other things as well in there? What do you think, Neil?
I think, no, the problem very much is that when you bring in a dog licence, you will make all the law-abiding good dog owners pay a licence fee. Those that are going to breed them in the back streets are going to produce them, and beat them and create them into status dogs and vicious dogs. I mean, I agree with the last guy that is very much must target those people, and that's why I'm worried about bringing a general licence. Now, if you brought in a general licence and you could actually make sure that money went to better policing and better dog control, yes, but of course very often that does not happen. So I think it's very often the people, believe it or not, that have the dog, not the dog. I mean, there are dogs that are vicious and they should be put down, but a lot of these dogs, even though these breeds are dangerous, they are not vicious when first starting. It's very often those people that are wanting them for status dogs, wanting them for protection, wanting them for criminal use. These are the people that need to be targeted. This is what we found when we did an inquiry into it, and I think it really is very much targeting those people. So I would like to see the police take much more action, and I think the neutering of the American bully. Bulldog will be good, but and you mustn't put down all of them, because there will be some that are good tempered. But
you can't. No. What about Peter Spencer? Should they be banned though? I mean, I'd ban them, frankly, and I'd have a licence as well, and insurance.
Well, I mean, that the government's already going down that route, but when it comes to licensing for dog owners, I mean, given that the overwhelming majority of dogs are sweet and loyal and lovely and all the rest of it, that the idea of having to license all of them, a bit like taking an intercontinental ballistic missile to swat a fly. Slight overreaction there, pardon je. But clearly the onus is on the owners. And if you look at the Bully XL, for God's sake, it's bred to fight other dogs. And in America, that was still going on a fairly widespread basis until little over a decade ago, might even still be going on. So you ask yourself the question about the sort of people that want to buy these dogs. And I pick up the point about your first speaker about wishing to enhance their macho qualities. There are, of course, that's not everyone, that's only a certain proportion. But when it comes to that certain proportion, we think of the old adage in our business, which is that dog bites man is not news, but man bites dog. Well, now that is a story. Well, for God's sake, but some of these guys, I wouldn't put anything past them.
But surely, Claire, if this dog were, first of all, banned, but then there was insurance and some sort of licence, that money could be put towards policing this.
Well, I'm not sure that